Welcome to day 3 of our January challenge 2019. We're working on Lauren Scott's Pure Imagination, and I will play for you now what we learnt yesterday and the day before. So I'll go from the beginning through. Today I'm giving you 8 bars because a significant amount of them are the same as what you've already learnt. So this is a great chance to reconcile what you've already learnt and just sort of reinforce it ready before we move on tomorrow into a totally new section. The ending of today is what's different. So I'll play through from the beginning and then you can see how the next section is going to be quite repetitious of that. Here we go. So remember, I've got my F sharp on, otherwise I'm in 3 flats. Here we go. 1, 2. Okay, so largely it was just the ending there that changed. There was an extra note in a chord as well, which I will give you. So we're going to start then on our day 3 learning. So we've done our glissando down. That's how we ended yesterday. From the high E with our left hand, pushing down, and our right hand was ready with a 4 on the C. Now, it depends how quick you are on the draw as to whether before you play that C, having done the glissando, you can fall back into that original shape that we started the whole piece with, or whether you play that 4 and then you place an E triad, E, G, B. But we're back to that original tune. So it's just joining it in really from that high E glissando and being firm and comfortable with what's coming next. So you might want to work quite a bit on that, because these transitions are what holds a full piece together. So it's all very well being able to start at a point and be able to play that phrase, but can you lead into it? So it's really worth the time to actually practice that glissando down. And can you get your left hand down for the F triad again down there? Okay, so the next section is identical to our day 1, apart from the lead in being different. So we have the C, E, going to a G and B with an F triad in the bass, the C, E, G and B again, and the left hand's going to the B, D, A. We're going to do the C and the E, but we're going to leap up to that high D, while the left hand's going down to the low E. Sharp in the left. Okay, I'm slightly speeding through that because it's what we learnt on day 1. If any of that suddenly feels panicky, you could go back and look at the day 1 video to remind yourself and go, yeah, no, I've got this, you're okay. Carrying on, the right hand goes back to the C and the E, but we're going to do 3, 2 and our thumb on the G, and our left hand's going to damp as we play this to get rid of that low E. It's no longer reverberating now because I've been talking that long, but it would be there. And then my E goes back on and I'm playing my F triad in the bass. This is the same as day 2. Moving up 1. Jumping down, and this time adding the C as well. We're just filling out the triad shape. Left hand still going to the B, D, A. Just fills in the bluesy nature. And then down 1. And then this time we're just going to a D. We're not going to go D, E, D, E. We're not doing that now. We've just got a D on its own. Left hand is going to go to a G, D, which I'm doing with a finger 3 and a 1. And we have D and the bass note together. Then the left hand plays that note. And then the right hand has got a D here for a minim, and then a D up here as well. Okay, so what you'll want to decide is how comfortable you feel either jumping for those Ds, leaping for them, or actually placing through. So you have the D and the F, leading in. That's the 2 notes. Then you have a D on its own here. And then you could just leap for a D with finger 2 and leap for a D again with finger 2. And make sure that you bend them in to really ring those out beautifully. Or you could go, you could at this point put an octave on, 2, but you've still got to leap for the top D. Or that's quite tricky really, because you've got to get your octave from having just played that. So personally, I would do my lead in, I'd do this one on its own, and then I might place an octave on the next 2. Meaning I'm no longer sort of leaping in the dark for that high D. You don't want that to be a panic. And an octave shape, your hand will probably open quite naturally to that. And if it doesn't, that's something to practice. Can I open my hand at an octave? My right hand opening it in this area here, my left hand coping with it down in this area here, which might be a slightly different size octave. So you don't want to practice your right hand down here and your left hand up here. Practice them in the areas they're most likely to need that shape. Okay, so if I put that together in some sort of actual time structure, I'm just going to go from the last 2.5 bars, the D and the F, walking down 1 and then going to a D, and then I'm going to place my 4 and my 1 in my right hand. So after a count of 2, if you'd like to join in, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2. And my job up there is to make sure that my thumb really bends in beautifully to make that D up there as rich as possible. Okay, let's put this together then. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play those last 4 bars with the 2-note lead in. So I've got 3, 2, 1. This is like yesterday's learning. The C triad in the right hand and the F triad in the left. But we're going into these D octaves at the end, okay? So if you'd like to join in with me after a count of 2. So I've got my right hand on a C triad, my left hand on an F triad, and I'm ready to go. 1, 2. Left hand's going to G and D. G, D, D in the right, D in the right. Okay, and practice damping at the end of that bar as well. Okay, so I'm going to play through all of day 3. Okay, so that is our last 8 bars with in fact we'll do the last 9 bars. So we're going to do the glissando in, going into that right hand, finger 4 on the C. Okay, so I'll give you a full bars count in so that you can be sitting ready on your glissando with your thumb in your left and your right hand on that finger 4 with C. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is like day 1. Damping the left, back onto the triad. Change here. Three, 4. Okay, now my left hand just there for those last 2 notes, the G and the D. I described earlier playing that with a 3 and a 1. What my left hand naturally wanted to do that time was that it went to a 4 and a 2, which is also acceptable. So I've got a 4 on my G and a 2 on the D. Again, this is partly because I'm not heading any lower, so it allows me to sort of use my hand there. It means my arm hasn't got to stretch quite so far. There should be a difference between what that feels like, the 4 and the 2, and what a 1 and a 3 feels like, because if your 1 is on, you would have your hand that much further down to make sure you've got more of the palm of the hand over that finger 3, so that your thumb is kind of vertical. So if you're sort of thinking, well, what's the difference? Practice the 2 and see if you can feel the difference. And if it doesn't feel any different, then maybe you need to make sure that you're moving your hand down a bit lower when it comes to using the thumb down there. Okay, maybe pop over now to the play along video and we will go from the beginning through it. I'll do it at a quite speedy speed, but I will then take it right down. Okay, don't panic about the sheer volume of what's there today. There's actually only those couple of bars at the end that are new. It's just the last 3 bars have anything new in them at all, so you can do this. All right, well done.